Today I'm be talking about my top 5 new gen anime, and by new gen I mean roughly like 2014 and up. That's what I'm thinking. I think I would consider that new gen. So that means I don't think any Attack on Titan would be in here or anything like that. No Hunter x Hunter. So nothing like that. But no, a lot of good shows have been coming out over the last couple of years, and I just feel like I wanted to rank them. I wanted to rank them based on what I enjoy the most. Also, this is all just my opinion, so everyone's obviously going to have a different preference in what they like, and this is just how I'm feeling. At the end of the day, everyone feels a different way about everything, but I mean, let's just hop right into it. And at number 5, you know I got ReZero, and I know I just made a video about how Jobless Reincarnation might be better than ReZero in the future, but I was talking about potential. I was talking about potential, and people didn't seem to like it, which obviously it's just my opinion, but I mean, I was just talking about potential. And I know they're two completely different shows, but I just feel like at the end of the day, that show will surpass it as an isekai, but that's not what we're talking about here. ReZero as a show is a more complete show, and it's a great show. I think it's a great show right now. I think it's a very, very good show with a lot of shock factor and a lot of story elements that really do the show justice. And I feel like there are just like a lot of like what the fuck moment, like a lot of what the fuck moments. And it's just a very, very large emotional roller coaster of a show. And I'm still not caught up on season 2, so it's just something I'm gonna have to get to. But as of right now, I think it's a really good show, and it has a lot of potential to do even more great things. I heard the manga's going crazy too. Haven't read it, or I don't know if it's a manga light now. I don't know what it is, but I heard it's going crazy and that it's only getting better from here. So I mean, I'm excited about that, and that's really I gotta say about it. The characters are great. Again, I'm not a big fan of Subaru as a MC, but I mean he's not terrible. Again, as I was talking about in my last video, there are just some things that I feel like are bringing his character down a little bit, but as a whole, he is not terrible. He is a very average main character for me, and I know in a sense he goes through a lot mentally, so it may just be tough on his character, but I mean that's just how I'm feeling about him. But that's besides the point. So ReZero, I have that at number 5. At number 4, I have Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is such a good show, and I really don't feel like it's talked about a lot. I really don't feel like it's talked about a lot, but I heard the manga is also going stupidly crazy right now, and I just really enjoy the show because it's a different type of show that you wouldn't necessarily normally watch. It like it's just there's no like powers. Like obviously Tsukasa is like an animal and he's like a man beast, but there's really like no powers like that, no fighting like that. Their fighting is a little bit different, but it's still action packed and fun. And just like the whole premise of the show is just a lot different than all of these other shonen out there. And it's just a really fun show, I think, to watch. And it's just like there are some moments I will admit where like they'll go from building a panel of glass and then they'll suddenly have like a car. Like it'll be like within 3 episodes and it'll be like, wow, that was like really fast. But that was more so in season 2 than season 1. But I do feel like season 2 was better than season 1 in terms of plot. And I feel like a lot did happen and a lot happened quick. But to me, it wasn't that big of a deal because obviously, like, they can't spend forever learning how to build new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like in season 1, they still did go fairly quick, but they did it on a smaller scale in terms of their technology and moving upward and building stuff. But I mean, season 2, it was a lot more grand on the scale of how they did things. But I still feel like it was done well, and I did enjoy season 2 a lot. And I feel like Doctor Stone is only getting better as well. And I really, really like it at my number 4 spot. And at number 3, at number 3, love me some Vinland Saga. I love me some Vinland Saga. Now, granted, it is only 12 episodes in, and it's the prologue. It is only the prologue. But, this first season was so strong for me that it just had to be up here. It's just also a different take on a show that you wouldn't necessarily normally watch. Just like Doctor Stone, like Vinland Saga is a show about Vikings where again it isn't like this superpower crazy futuristic or like magic casting show. It's not like that. It's like a more down to earth and real type of show with like lots of great character development, lots of great characters. Like the fact that, slight spoiler alert, like the main character basically travels with the dude who killed his dad. That's like the whole season for the most part. Wait, no, is Vinland Saga 24 episodes? It might be 24 episodes. I think it is 24 episodes deep. But besides the point, main character travels with the dude who killed his dad, and they build a relationship, and it is such like a toxic relationship. It's literally like a toxic relationship, like with a loved one. Like it's really weird, but it's such a good relationship that they have, and it is so good to watch them build that throughout the whole season. And the other characters that they introduce, like Thorkel and the Prince, also really good characters. And I just feel like it is a very gritty show that a lot of people are gonna like. And I feel like that one is also very under the radar too because it's only on Amazon Prime. I feel like if it went to other streaming platforms such as Crunchyroll, Funimation, Hulu, people would really, really like it because Amazon Prime, in terms of anime, is like at the bottom. Like, no one really talks about Amazon Prime like that. You know, there's only like Banana Fish and Vinland that I've heard of being like exclusive Amazon Prime hits. So, I mean, I feel like if Vinland Saga were to move to different platforms, if possible, it would be a way, way bigger show. And it's still fairly big for it being only on that platform. But I think Vinland Saga is a strong number three for me because it is a great, 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 great show. Great show. At number two, I'm gonna be having Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my I this show, animation, banger. Banger, banger. I love the animation in the show. It is very smooth. I've never seen fighting scenes like this, and I don't know if I'm just over exaggerating just because I really enjoy the show. But in I've watched a decent amount of anime, but I haven't watched like fucking everything, you know what I mean? But I really enjoy the animation in Jujutsu Kaisen. They are probably some of the best fights that I have ever seen. Like for example, when Gojo fought the volcano dude, spoiler alert, the animation and like the little lens flashes and like all these different little elements, they all mesh together so well, and it was so good to watch. And like again, I know I said this about some other shows, but like when they're punching and stuff, they don't feel like weak little punches. Like they feel like they hold weight to them. And when they're fighting, like you could like see the effects and like see the rumbling and like see the damage they're doing to each other, and it really like holds weight to it, and it's very, very like crisp and nice. There's also the characters. The characters in the show, the full cast of characters, I can't really even think of one bad character other than like Mekamaru. Like I don't really like Mekamaru that much because I don't know, I'm just not a fan of like I like his character, don't get me wrong, but I would say he is the worst character out of the bunch that they've shown. But there are many, many, many good characters. There is the kid who has the cursed voice, and then there's the panda, and then there's Itadori, Megumi, Nobara, Gojo, the two sisters, Maki and Mai, I think that's their names. There is the guy who uses the blood technique. There is Itadori's mentor for a little bit. I forgot his name, the guy with the glasses. Like, there's so many good characters in the show that they could damn near make a game off of it because it is just like, I don't know, it's just like such a diverse cast. No one is the same. No one is the same. Everyone has different power. Everyone fights a different way. And it's really, really diverse and great to watch. And then the comedy in the show also hits. There's great comedy in the show. I don't think they ever miss with the comedy because it's very subtle and very fun. And when it is a little extravagant and stuff, it's still good. Like my only complaints about this show would probably be like the story. Like it's very basic story at this point, and like it's not really that deep. But all of those other elements make up for it, which make it a really, really good show for me. Now I'm talking about some honorable mentions really quick. We got a Mob Psycho 100, great animation to the show, great main character, a top tier main character. Um, I don't know. I just didn't see it being in my top five. Like I enjoy the show, don't get me wrong, but there's just for me there's something missing in that show that I just didn't want to put it in my top five. I feel like it didn't affect me the way that these five shows did, and that's why it's probably not in my top five. But the animation is great, the fighting is great, the main character is an S tier main character for me, a S tier. Um, and yes, that's really that. Demon Slayer also is another honorable mention. I mean, the animation you can't really get better than this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the animation for this show. In terms of the anime, the story is not really there for me. I know in the manga, which I did sort of read a little bit, I'm not caught up on it, but I sort of read the manga a little bit, and the story does get better in the manga, but I'm going off of straight anime right now. In the anime, the story is very bland for me. It wasn't really there for me yet, so that's probably why it's not in my top five. as of right now. Could I see it getting my top five for new gen? I could. I'm not caught up on it like that, so I don't know. Another honorable mention I would say is definitely The Promised Neverland, and that's only because this show is it was bound for greatness. It really was. It was there was really no way you could have folded in terms of there wasn't. They had it all set up for them and then they folded with season 2 and it's never going to come back. And I mean, that just happens sometimes with shows and you really can't do anything about it. It is very unfortunate because this show would have probably been like a 2, maybe even the 1 spot for my top 5 new gen anime because it was just that good. Season 1 was that strong of a season, you know, and it's very unfortunate that what happened with season 2 happened, but I mean, what can you do? Fire Force also a great show. I feel like the animation hits. I feel like there's a lot of fan service that is just not needed. Personally, I don't feel like that's needed from Tamaki specifically. But I feel like the fighting is great. The characters are great. For me, it's just like it wasn't top 5 worthy for me. I feel like it is a very basic show, but it does basic well, you know? And I feel like the shows that I have in my top 5 are shows that kind of exceed that level of being basic. But I know with my number one pick, a lot of people would disagree with that comment that I just said in terms of being basic. But I mean, again, it's just my opinion, how I like the show. And there are more honorable mentions, but I mean, there's too many to even go about because I don't even want to talk. There's like, I'll just list them off really quick. There's like Boruto, Haikyuu. I mean, it's Haikyuu a new gen? I would put Haikyuu there too. What else is there? Jobless Reincarnation. I can't believe I didn't even talk about Jobless Reincarnation because I just made that last video on it. Jobless Reincarnation is definitely like, if there were to be a top 10, it would definitely be like 6 or 7 because I really enjoy that show. But there's Jobless Reincarnation, My Hero Academia, if I didn't say that already, which I don't think I did. I'm not a My Hero hater. I'm really not. I just don't think the show is consistent with its seasons. I think the show is not like because if I recall correctly, I think season 1 and 2 were good, 3 was not good, 4 was good ish, and then 5 is looking like it'll be good right now. I'm caught up on all the episodes and it looks like it'll be a good fighting season, but in terms of like the story outside of the classes, I don't think they're really going to focus on that this season, but I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't know if like their whole training session with class 1A and 1B is going to get invaded by villains, you know? I don't know which way it's going. But look, for me personally, I don't think My Hero is consistent with how good it is, so I feel like that's why it would also not be in my top 5. I feel like these other shows are very consistent. But yeah, that's really it for the honorable mentions. My number 1 top new gen is going to be Black Clover. I love me some Black Clover. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I really do like Black Clover, and I know that a lot of people will say it's a copy of Naruto, blah, blah, blah. I can name like 7 anime off the top of my head that deal with a kid having a demon, having a best friend rival that is super cool, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a lot of different shonen, and I don't know why Black Clover is called out for that when a lot of other shows do the same thing. And it's not like it's a bad formula either. It's not bad at all. I don't know why people call it out like that though, because a lot of other shows do it. But that's besides the point. I feel like Black Clover, especially the manga, which I'm not even going to be talking about, is great. I feel like the show is very deep with its character roster. I feel like they could make a whole like Naruto Storm type of game off of Black Clover. Same thing with My Hero, which they've done, but I feel like Black Clover would be a good game to make as well. I feel like their character roster is really deep. I feel like the comedy in the show is not bad at all. I know people don't like Asta screaming, but it really isn't even that bad after like episode 10. Like when I will admit when the show first started, it was awful. His screaming was awful. There was just like because he still screams, but it was just a different type of scream. Like it was I don't know how to explain it. Like his screaming at the beginning was awful though. It was really hard to get through. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I know there are scenes in the show animated that are awful. Awful. And that's just like the fight with Ladros, I think his name is, or Lastos. I don't know. I don't remember his name. But the first fight where Asta transforms for the most part, animated poorly. It was very bad. And there are a couple other scenes like when they're in the diamond mine and that guy turned into that big crystal monster type of thing. That CGI wasn't even hitting for me. I really wasn't a fan. And there are a lot of elements that could have been executed better. I'm not going to lie to you. but I just personally enjoy the cast of characters, especially the main characters, so much that I really think this show is my top one. My top one on my top five new gen. I really enjoy Captain Yami. There are plenty of characters in this show that are very lovable. I enjoy the power system in the show. I feel like the fights are also really good. I feel like the story is also really good because at first, I'm not gonna lie, the story was very normal at first until I would say they got to the I have the Midnight Sun, right? That's what it's called. I have the Midnight Sun, the villain group. Until they got to there, I would say the story was fairly normal. But once they got there, the show has been up ever since. The show's been up ever since. Then they had the Royal Knights exam or whatever, and then that's when they had the moment with Asta, Magna, Luck, and then Langris. I don't know why I'm messing up their names. But when they pulled up and then that animated scene that everyone talks about, that was good. And then they had the demon fight, and then they had they had the Lick fight and the Petra, I forgot his name, fight with Julius, and then they had the demon fight, and then they just had the last part, which was probably the best part of the show so far. And in the manga, it only gets better, which I can't talk about because I'm talking about anime right now. But for me, Black Clover is always hit, and then don't even get me started on the openings. I know I did not talk about the openings with any of the other shows, but all of them have great openings. That's besides the point, though. But Black Clover never misses with the openings. Same with Jujutsu Kaisen. Both of their openings are good. Dr. Stone had great openings. ReZero has great openings, and Finland Saga had two great openings as well. But Black Clover having as many openings as it does, never misses with the openings. All certified bangers, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't really know how to explain why I like Black Clover so much because I know there are shows on the list that have a lot of better elements than Black Clover. Like I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen has better fights than Black Clover in terms of animation. And I feel like nah, yeah, I feel like Vinland has sort of like a better direction in which way the story's going. Same with ReZero in terms of compared to Black Clover. But I feel like Black Clover as a collective for me, it does everything that I want a little bit better than the normal. So then that's why I like it so much. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know why I really can't explain why I like it so much other than that. You know, and for me, it's my number one. I know there are others that would agree and then there are others that won't agree. So I mean that's just how it is. I just feel like in terms of a shonen anime, your typical shonen anime, I feel like Black Clover is doing it the best right now. I feel like Black Clover is doing it the best right now, and that's why it is at my number one. And yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it. So that is my top five new gen anime out right now. Oh, I forgot to mention Tower of God. Tower of God is also a great show in my honorable mentions. But yeah, that's my top five new gen anime. I feel like all of these shows are doing great things. I feel like the shows in my honorable mentions can also move up. Like it just depends how good the show's doing, you know. And this is all my opinion at the end of the day. Everyone's gonna feel a different way about it. But yeah, hey, this is how I'm feeling about it. You know what I'm saying? I know I said that 20 times already. But yeah, that's really I have nothing else to say. So that's the video.